Hi guys, are you able to see my screen? Am I audible? Thank you, Saurabh, for letting me know.
Everything.
Good evening, Prag. Can anyone check if MCQ is visible? Let me know. No, okay. Yeah, I was suddenly logged out of the portal. So I am creating again. MCQ is live, guys. Please attempt. Yes, Rupam, MCQ is live. So there are two MCQs which are live. I hope you guys are able to see both the MCQs. Yes, no, anything. Those who are able to see, write two. Those who are able to see one, write one in the chat. Okay? Two. Great. So I think those who have joined just now, they will see only one MCQ. So those who joined just now, they'll be able to see, I think, only one MCQ. Please join on time. I hope you got the notification, right? I've already posted that I'll be giving MCQs sharp at 9. Guys who have just joined, please go take the MCQs. MCQs are live. Guys who have just joined, MCQs are live. Please take the MCQs. Okay,
दो से
let's.
ज्यादा पब्लिश किया क्या आपने? क्योंकि मुझे दो ही सर दिख रहा है.
Yeah, only 2 MCQs are there right now. Anyone else having any doubts related to MCQ? If anyone is seeing 1, 2, 0, any doubts on that? Should we start? Okay, we are starting now. So let's spend some time. Okay, I would like to know yesterday lecture feedback. What went wrong for you? Okay, just write it in the chat, because just give me suggestions on how I can improve it. I can see like many students saying they were not able to understand anything. So just tell me in the chat right now. And what do you want me to improve? Nothing? Go a little bit fast. Okay, we'll go a bit fast today. The thing is, see, for you, Rupam, okay, it is slow, but some students are writing it in the feedback that they are not able to understand anything. We will try to go fast today. Okay. Anything else? Anything else? Okay, cool, guys. Nothing else. First was the first slide. So that's all for the lecture feedback, I would say. So pace is good for me, Shubham is saying. Okay, Shubham. Okay, before proceeding further, just let me know at any time if you guys are not able to see my screen. Okay, so right now I'm sharing my web browser and now I am switching to VS Code. Are you guys able to see VS Code? Just type VS Code if you are able to see. Great, 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 great. So just let me know at any point of time very quickly if you are not able to see the screen. Okay. So what is happening? There is some issue. I think the screen is a wide screen is coming up sometimes. I don't know what is the reason. So just try to be patient and let me know on time. Great, great, guys. Let's get started today. Any doubts related to MCQ? Okay. No doubts. Okay. And yesterday I gave some homework, right, to everyone. Who tried that? Who tried accessing Node.js server from their mobile phones web browser? Who tried that? Anyone? Raise your hand if you tried that. Nice, nice, nice. So Kanhu tried that. Nice. Anyone else? Okay, okay, okay. No problem, guys. Okay. So today we will be covering middleware in detail. Okay. Now I'm switching to my paint screen. Let me know in the chat if it is visible. Just write paint. If you are able to see, okay, great. The screen is visible. So guys, today's topic is middleware. Okay. So yesterday we used Express and started a server, right? Now we will see why the middlewares are useful to us and what middlewares actually are. Okay. So firstly, Express provides us this middleware, a way to use middlewares, and We have seen yesterday a few things, okay? Why middlewares, why we were writing middlewares, okay? So let me start again a bit just to revise, okay? So middleware is a function, okay, which has access to request, response, and next, okay? So what is it? It is a function, okay? You can name it my function, okay? What it has in the parameter? Request, response, and next, okay? And it will have a certain body also where you will write some code, right? And you will provide your middleware function. Yesterday we were passing an anonymous function, right? If you remember, we were passing something of this sort, right? Let me show that also. So we were writing something of this sort, app.use this and this. So this is an anonymous function because it does not have a name. You can pass a named function as well. That's not the issue. So we were writing something of this sort, right? And we were doing something like this. Request dot. So we were printing something. Okay. So if you see, I am able to pass a function as a parameter inside this app.use. Okay. So such a function is called a callback function. Clear? So this was a question in the MCQ. So whatever we are going to pass, right? So app.use allows us to pass a function in its parameter or in its function argument. Okay, and what we call this? We call this as a callback function. Okay, is this clear to everyone? Raise your hand if this is clear quickly. If you know what callback function is, raise your hand. If it is not clear, just put it in the chat. I am moving forward. Okay, guys, I'm moving forward. So what these middleware functions can do? Okay, so what they are capable of. So we just saw that they have a request, response, and next, right? But it is a function. It is a function, right? So how does it get? It is just a function we are passing, right? How does it get access to request, response, and next? It is just a function, right? How we are able to access this request and original request dot original thing? So what happens is these things, okay, these things are nothing but the parameters of the callback function, okay? And when this callback function is called, okay, these values are passed in. Understood? I'll take the MCQ example so that it is clear. This was the MCQ. Okay, so here what we have, process user input, and what we are passing, we are only passing the function name. Okay, a similar thing I can do here. Okay, I can declare a function here. I can write function, my function. Okay, I can write this. Okay, and what I can write it right here is the function name. This much is clear. Okay, let me check the chat. Oh, so someone in the chat has asked if request and response are only the name or any built-in commands. Okay, so let's try to answer your question. Okay, so this is the question which is being asked. I hope you guys can see it. This is the question which is being asked. So what is request? These are nothing but the function parameters. So if you see here, I have just defined the function, right? So a middleware is always going to receive three function parameters. Okay. So whenever I write any function or provide any function inside app.use, right? So whenever this function is going to be called, so this function will be called by some internal code of Express or Node. Okay, Express code. You can assume some JavaScript because we are using Express. So it will be called, but how it will be called? So we have provided the function name, right? So it will call it like this. So it will try to pass some data. This could be anything. Okay. So it will try to pass some data internally to this function. Okay, when it is calling it. And the first one is always request, the second one is always response, and the third one is always next. Clear, Kanu? Yes, no? Okay, great. So this is nothing, a callback function as of now. This was clear? So middleware and callback, the basic concept is clear. What middlewares are? They will always have access to request, response, and next. Okay. And to call any function as a middleware, we have to pass that function here. Clear? Cool. So what these middleware can do? So let me do one thing. Let me remove this code and put it directly here for now. It is actually the same thing. So if a function is having access to, let's say, request, response, and next, we will talk what next is. Okay. So it can do anything on request response, right? So it can read data from request also. We just saw that the values will be provided when this callback function will be called. Okay. Like in this example. So where is the callback function? So this is the callback function we are passing. So in line number 10, we are passing the callback function greeting, right? And when this callback function greeting is passed, it comes in the input parameter, which is anything. Okay, so anything will point to this function greeting, and process user input is responsible for providing the function arguments. Okay, similarly, Express will provide these arguments. Okay, so these of the data will be provided by Express. This much clear? Now, once we have the data available, okay, so we have request, so we can read it also, right? So we will try to read it also. Okay. Now app.use, sorry, the middleware also has access to response. So it can do something like this. It can write data. Okay. So what I'm trying to tell you, it can do things on request and response because it has access. Okay. So a middleware can theoretically can end the response also. Okay, it can write response.end, and from here in itself we will see the request will be sent back. Okay, it will not come to the get. Okay, let's run this. Okay, so guys, we were getting certain error because the express module was not installed, so I'm just trying to install it. Now the server is running. Okay, if I take this and if I go to the browser, cool, and hit this, I'm getting hello world. Okay, so it is, the request is not even coming here. It is returning from here because we have written response.end, right? This much is clear to everyone. Theoretically, we can end the response from here also, but we don't do that. Okay, I'll tell you why.
Can you repeat what is happening at response.end?
Okay, so this line is clear. We are writing some data, right? Now we are saying that everything is done, return this response. Okay, I am done. So this function, if I say response.end, there is nothing more to write. That is what I'm telling. And whatever I have written right till here, okay, the request will end. So the thing is, we have to understand uh, uh, that the next middleware will not be executed. Okay, that's what I was trying to say. Instead of, let's say, I mean, if you know, if you don't know these things, like end, send,
Yes, ma'am.
send, we will write send. Okay, and we will change it a bit. We will write it app.use. Okay, so that we know which one is from where we are getting the response and what is the response, right? Okay, now let's go back to the browser. Okay, give me a second, guys. Let's refresh it. So we were getting error because I wrote the wrong variable name. Okay, now this is clear. App.use. It says it is the response is returning from here itself. Okay.
Ma'am, when to use response.end, ma'am?
You can ignore that for now. There are like many methods available. If you look at this, response end is typically used to end the processing of the request and return back the response to the client. So both are same thing. If you do response.send or response.end. Okay.
When to use response.end?
Okay, so send is actually doing that internally. Okay, so when to use response.end is if you are writing, if you have used a method, a different method, what it is doing is it is writing also, but send is writing also and returning also. Returning as in it is calling response.end also. But this particular method, response.write, will only write. It will not call response.end. So I'll have to call response.end explicitly. Okay. So when anything which you are performing, any other function, okay, which is not going to end the request implicitly, okay, by itself, then we have to call it separately. Clear?
Yes, ma'am. Please.
Okay, I will not use this actually because it may, because you guys only know, I think comfortable with send, but that's not a big thing. We will uh, discuss all these methods, okay, in some other class. Okay, so from here in itself, it is returning. Okay, but we will never do such a thing. So this was just for demonstration. Okay. Now tell me, what if I do this next? Okay, what will happen? Okay, I'll show you. So yesterday, what we said, what next is? So next is a special type of function. Okay. So next, if I call next, right, it calls the next middleware function. Okay. So the middlewares are, it is very important, the order of middlewares are very important, right? The way middlewares are loaded. Okay, so app.get, this is also using a middleware. So this particular method which you are seeing, right, this is also a middleware. It also has access to next. Okay, it can also call next. Okay, and app.use can also accept the middleware. Now we will look at where to use app.use, okay, and where to use app.get. Okay. Before that, I have a bit of theory and I'm switching to paint here. Okay, guys. I hope the paint screen is visible to everyone. Okay. So the middlewares, right? There are actually 5 types of middlewares. Okay. So the first one is we have at application level. Okay. So what is application in our code? It is nothing but app, right? It is the app variable. I'm switching back to VS Code. So this is the application, right? App. So how can we use middlewares on application level? Is binding the application level middleware using app.use. Okay. So if we want to write middleware functions, okay, so we can do either using app.use, app.get, or app.post. This much is clear. What are application level middlewares? A very easy trick to remember is application is nothing but app. Okay. On app, what we have app.use and we have app.get, and we can also have app.post. Just copying this thing. So in the current example, how many middlewares do you see as of now? Let me collapse the terminal. So there are 3 middlewares. So one we have written here, okay. Another one is this one, and the third one is this one. Okay, guys. Let me check the chat. Yeah, right, Abhishek. 3. Now I'm switching back to Paint. Okay. So application level middleware is clear. So it is going to be how we will be using it. App.use, and we will provide our function here. App.get. We will provide our function here. App.post, and we will provide our function here. Cool. Okay. But a generic thing is for this thing is okay. But if we see what get and post is, what are these things? These are nothing but HTTP verbs or HTTP methods, you can say. Okay, so HTTP methods. So on all HTTP methods, right? So another HTTP method is post. So if you write app.post, the function, whatever the function you pass in here, that is also going to be a middleware. Okay, guys. So app.use or app.method. This much is clear. Any question here? No questions? Okay, great. Okay, let me check. There is a question in the chat. So this is the question. You can see on line number 8. So we can use app.use middleware in between the all HTTP methods. We can use it. We can do anything. We can write any middleware, but we will see how to write them. The order is important. We are going to take an example right now, Abhishek, and we are going to see why the order is important and what happens if you write app.use in the middle of HTTP methods. Okay. I hope that answers your question, Abhishek. Great. So right now we are dealing with application middlewares only. Okay. This much is clear. Now I will try explaining this code. Okay. I will try explaining this code from line number 7 till line number 23, because from 7 to 23 all we have is middlewares. Okay, now there is a term called loading the middlewares. Okay, so middlewares are loaded in a particular way, and it may not be the same thing in which you have written the middleware. We will see what is the difference when we come to the next middleware. We will see more clearly what loading means. Here it is very straightforward. Here app middlewares, right? This is very straightforward. So first this middleware will be loaded, then this. Okay, so if I'm calling next, right, here what it is going to go? It is going to go here. Okay. Now another thing, let's make a get request and a post request. Okay, now I'm switching to postman. Uh, is postman visible? Just write postman in the chat if visible. Great. I'm going to make a get request. Yeah, that's all. Error request is not defined. Get. So there's a bit of inconsistency in the variable names. So we got the response hello world. Okay. Now let's look at the terminal, what was printed. Let me do one thing. Let's make the request again. So we can see right now only this message is there. Let's make this request. What is printed? Get request received. Okay. And it is also printing the request.original URL. Okay, which is slash. So this middleware is getting executed. If it is not clear, right? Let me just write one more log statement. App.use also, so that you guys know. So on the screen, what we have, server running. Let's hit hello world, we get. Okay, so it is, so app.use is getting printed. So any request, okay, which comes to the server, this middleware is always going to be executed. Okay. Now we come to the next thing. So this is the second line, slash, we have printed a request.original URL, right? Now it has printed only get request. So request dot method will have either get or post depending upon if it is a get request or post. Because here we have set it to be a get request. That's why the request method was get. Okay. And app.get is only going to execute the middleware for get request because it is get, right? It was the method in itself, get, and it is going to match this thing we have written here. We can call it as path or route. Okay, okay, guys. So what we have provided in the postman, we have provided this, right? And this is corresponding to the home path or the index path. So this is so these two things corresponds to this. So that is why this particular middleware is executed. Okay. And here we are saying response.send. Okay. That's why we are able to get hello world over there. Okay. Now let's make a post request also. Okay, we are reading somewhere something. Give me a second, guys. Next, okay, next. Okay, someone is asking me to explain what next is. Oh yeah, right. So I will explain what next is. I'm reading the chat also in parallel. So first, let's fix this. Okay. So again, there was a variable naming thing which was going wrong. We are getting hello world. Great, guys. Okay, but I've explained it yesterday, right? How to read the post request body. That concept is clear to everyone. Right now, we are not. Okay, we will go through it as we read, as we go to the next middleware. So this is clear. Okay, now when we have hit the post request, you can see three statements are printed, right? Let's look at the code from line number 7, from where the middleware start. So it is, so app.use, it's going to match, or it is going to be executed for all the requests. We have not, app.use does not restricts based on the HTTP method, which is get or post. Okay. So it has executed. Now this is only for get. Okay, so that's why we are not seeing this executed. Now, because we have sent the post request and this is the matching one, this one will execute. Okay, this is clear. I'll explain what next is. I called next function here on line number 10. Someone is saying in the chat, next function is not called. It is there. Line 16. Give me a second. Let me reply to the chat. Okay, so someone in the chat has a question, and this is the question I'm pasting here. So if I'm reading the question, if I want to use middleware only for post request, okay, not for get request, then how can I use it? Please explain. Okay. So you won't write app.use. Okay. What you can write? You can write app.get. Now let me do one more thing. I'm trying to answer your question. Okay, let's copy this and write something like this. Okay. And let's copy this and write something of this part. Okay. Now the question is, if I want to use middleware only for post request, okay, not for get request, then how can I use it? So what you can do is, you can remove this. Okay. You can have this app.get. Okay, for whatever the post request, whatever your request is, and whatever your response is. Okay, and what you can do is, you can call next function here. Okay. So if any middleware you want to use it, right, for a get request, this will get executed. Okay. And for anything which is post, this will get executed. If you want the middlewares to be based on HTTP request methods, okay, then you will not use app.use. Okay. And what you will use app.get and app.post. Okay. So that's one way of doing it. The other way of doing it is, which is, I don't think which is ideal, you will still use this app.use. Okay. Now we are going to put some if else condition here. I hope everyone knows if else conditions. What we are going to read, we are going to read request.method. Okay. I'm assuming it is a string. So you can write conditional statements also. Whatever the logic you want to perform here, you can perform here based on if and else if request dot method equals to get. So whatever you want to do, you can do here or not want to do. Did this thing answers your question, Pray?
But ma'am, this will makes it more complicated, right, ma'am?
Yeah, that's why I'm telling you, we will not use it. But I just told you that this is also a way to do it. Okay. Ideally, what you will do it on app.get and app.post. If you want your middlewares to, okay, only based on if you want to segregate your middlewares for get and post requests, that is how you are going to use. You will use this app.get and app.post. Is that clear?
I have to write that middleware in that method only, right?
Yeah, in the method.
Okay.
So app.use, app.get and app.post. This is one way of doing it, but this is a messy way. You can try and this will also work. Okay. Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. But I'm not suggesting that you should do this way. This is one of the way. Okay. Any other questions till now? Okay. Let's proceed then. So as you can see, I have written two more middlewares. Okay, one is this and one is this. Let's try making the request and see what is going to happen. Okay, let's go to Postman. First, let's make the get request /user /foobar, enter. What is printed here? App.use. So this is the app.use middleware which we have provided. Now there is a specific thing what the get middleware is going to perform. It is going to match the exact path. Right now what I have provided it, the exact path, just look at it. /user /foobar. Okay. So if firstly the request is get, so I will only be looking at the get middlewares. Okay. So get is always going to match the exact path which I have provided here. Okay, guys. But this is not the path. What is the path? It is /user /something. So /something is going to come up in ID. Okay, so this is going to be passed as a request parameter. Okay, if I read something here of this sort, request dot parents dot id, and if I do this, I see get foobar is printed here. Okay, earlier only this was printed, get request. So get is always going to match the exact path or the exact route. This much is clear? Any doubts? Okay, so same thing applies for post also. Post is also going to match the exact route. So let's make a post request. See, only this particular line is executed. This thing is not executed. This get thing is not executed. This is not executed. This app.use thing, yes, this console log is executed. This much clear? And also see this, we were printing request.original URL, right? So it is also printing the whatever the path was. This much clear for everyone? Okay, let's move ahead. So next we are going to look at router level middleware. Okay, there's something in the chat. Let me check. It's matching the paths, right? Yes. Someone in the chat has asked. It is matching the paths, right? Yes, it is, right? Okay. So these are the questions. Next, we are going to see router level middlewares. Okay, guys. What was the logic to remember application level middlewares? They will be on app.use, app.method. Okay, in the same way, we have a logic to remember the router level middlewares. They will be on router. Okay, let me create a new file here. So we will be using something of this sort. We will be using express.router. Let me copy some code also from here. And why we are using the router, we will see. And we will also see how they are different from application level middlewares. Okay. Let's do these basic things. Okay. As of now, we have not written any logic to handle the requests, right? So now, let's write something of this sort. App.use again, some request response And next, we are going to write here. Okay. But this is the very similar to app.use, you will see, guys, right? It seems very similar to app.use, right? Only we have written router.use. We will see the difference. Wait for a while. Okay. Let's write one more. Okay. So in the application middleware, what we used app.use and app.method. Here also we will use router.use and router.method. So router.get, router.post kind of things. Okay. But we will see the difference. Wait for it. It is looking very same right now. The thing is, we have to do a very special thing here. We have to pass the router to app.use. Question? See, all the middlewares, right? They exist at application level. Always and always. Okay. This router middleware, right? This is just a name. Internally, what we are doing, we are passing it to this application level middleware only, right? So remember this thing. Everything is going to happen from application level middleware. Very clearly, just remember this point. It will help you understand this code. Okay. So let's write mount the router on the app. Okay, guys. And one more thing. So in app.use, right, you can provide as many middlewares you want, or in any place, right? Wherever you see you are providing middlewares, right? It mostly supports providing multiple middlewares. So you can again write a function here and do stuff. Okay, clear? That's just something I won't tell you. Give me a second, guys. Let me pull up the example. So now what is going to happen is, let's try to understand the difference between these two. Okay. App router middleware. You can see these two files side by side. Okay. Right. I will try explaining this side from line number 8. Okay. So router.use, I have written this. Will this middleware be loaded right now? No. I have used router.get here. Will this middleware be loaded right now? No. I have written app.use router. Now from this point onwards, okay, the middlewares which are written, like router level middlewares which are written, those are loaded. This thing understood? Okay, now let's come to this particular thing. Okay, I've used app.use this. This particular middleware is loaded. Yes, right now it is loaded. As I've written app.get, is this middleware is loaded? Yes, it is loaded. But this is not the case here. I've written router.get, but this middleware is not loaded. It is loaded only when I have specified this particular line of code. This much is clear? Anything in the chat, just write yes or no quickly. Guys, yes, no. Okay, don't worry. Let me take an example for you so that you will understand it better. Let me do this also. So let's first see the router middleware only example. Then I will give you an example where you can see the difference. Why to use router middleware? Yeah, we are going to see that drag in a bit. Just hold on. So let me run this example. Cool. Let's send something also. We have not sent something here. Yeah, that's all. So let's make a get request here. So post endpoint was not available. So let's make a get. We got hello. So it has typed request received. Let's do it again. Actually, it will be confusing for you otherwise because there were two requests received because I sent a post request also. So now you see request received is printed and what is printed router.get user foo. So this was the middleware which is printed. Okay. This was a middleware which is executed and this one is the route is met. So this is going to work in the same way as the application router is going to work. Okay. So it is going to see if it is a get request, then it is going to match the path and then it is going to perform the code execution whatever we have written. So we have written router.get, this has printed. Okay. Now let's do one thing. I told you that the order of the middlewares is important, right? Now, if I write this middleware app.get user, same path. Okay. Request, response, next. So what next does it? So someone I think asked earlier. So next is going to help us call the next middleware. Okay. So here what happens is whenever this request came, right? Request received, we have printed. Okay. Now, if we don't call the next, the request will be stuck here forever. Okay. So that's why, so whatever the next middleware is, we would want to call it. That's why we are using next. Okay. Now we are going to go to this particular example.
It should be router.get.
Sorry, where?
Router.get at 19, line 1.
No, I am telling you the difference between app router, sorry, application level middleware and router level middleware, and I am also trying to tell you the importance of order of middlewares and this particular line, right? I told you to focus on this line. That's what I'm going to explain. Okay. Cool. So let's look at the code. Let me do one thing. Let me close it here and open it here only so that you guys are only seeing one file. So this file is for router middleware example. Routers are here from line number 9 till this is the code we have written so far. Okay. Now, if I'm going to make a request, get request, I'm going to make this get request. So what do I see here? App.get user foobar only. This is strange. Doesn't seem strange? I told you just now that the order in which you write is important and that is the order in which middleware gets executed. So firstly, this middleware should have been executed. Request received, this router middleware. But we don't see any request received here. Strange. Then what is the get request if we look at the postman? User/foobar. Okay, which is matching against this particular thing, right? It is a get request and the path is exactly same. But why this router.get is not printed here? But this thing is printed app.get. Okay, this thing, see the route is same. These two things are same. It is get. Okay, but this particular thing is printed. It is very strange, don't you think? Guys, do I have to explain this more? किसी को idea हुआ अभी तक? Anyone has any idea why the first middleware is not executed, which we have written? Okay, so the order of writing the middleware is important and the order in which the middleware gets loaded is also important. Okay, so always a more accurate statement is we should say the order in which middleware gets loaded is important. Okay, at application level middleware, so whatever middlewares you are writing, right, the order in which I have written, they get executed, right? But that is also the order in which they are loaded. But here the case is not same. I'll tell you why. We have created the router here, right? I have just said router.use this, router.get this. Now here I have defined an application level middleware. Okay. And as I told you, okay, with great emphasis, that router middleware is just something, okay, which is there. The whole thing is always going to work at application middleware level. Okay. So always and always it is going to be the application middleware here, which is loading the router middlewares. That is why we have written app.use router. Okay, guys. In application level middlewares, we have not written a similar thing. We have used app.use. I take that, but we have not done something like this. Okay, so here the order in which they gets loaded is firstly app.get gets loaded. Okay, then what happens at app.use? It is seeing but we are passing it router. Okay. Now what it will see is it will go to the router object. Okay. Whatever we have written. So what the first thing we have written, now this gets loaded. So the first thing which gets loaded is the first middleware which gets loaded is app.get. This is the first one. App.use, this is going to load this. This is going to be the second middleware which is getting loaded. And this is going to be the third middleware. Okay, guys? Is this clear? Why did the output was this? Why was the output was this? Is this clear? Yes
No,
or no?
no, ma'am.
No. Okay. Thank you for saying, for answering. Okay. Now I will try to explain it once more. Okay. So I said one thing, that the middleware will get executed in the order they are loaded. Okay. Just try to, yeah, Prag, I will show you on the whiteboard. Just give me a second. One second, guys. Okay. See, it is always and always the application middleware which gets loaded. Okay. And we are loading the router middleware using an application level middleware only. You can say that. Is this clear? So what happens is, this is nothing right now. When the code is executing, it is reading this particular thing, but it will not make sense. It will not load this middleware. Okay. Because this is not linked to the application yet. Okay. Now this particular thing is linked to the application. Now we are linking the router level middlewares to the application. So the order in which they get linked or loaded is the order in which they will get executed. Is it clear now?
No, ma'am.
What is not clear?
The
Like
order,
tell
like
me
how,
the
yeah,
Mhm.
like how the order is getting loading. I'm not getting.
So what did I say? I said the loading is going to happen at application level. Okay, app. This is the app variable. Okay. Now this is a very important line which I have written. If I'm not going to write this, okay, the router, they will not work at all. Shall I show you that?
Yeah, yes, ma'am.
Let's see that. So what we are going to do, we are going to make a get request. Okay. Cannot get.
So, ma'am, suppose we have app.use router.
Mhm.
Can you uncomment it, sir? Okay, so then what will load in the like order? Can you like what will load
Yes,
first?
yes. What will get loaded first is, so here, whatever you have written, right, that will get loaded. The order in which you have written.
So So the second will be load first and then third, right? The second middleware will, yeah, the second.
So the one at line number 9, right? So as of now, right, the router level middlewares, I have written 2, right? One is here at line number 9 and one is at line number 14. Okay. Is
Yes,
this clear?
yes.
So these will get loaded or linked or executed in the order I have written them. With respect to the router level middleware only. So hear me again. Router level middleware will get loaded in the order they have been written with respect to only router level middlewares. Is it clear now?
Yes.
Okay. So what was the problem which was happening here? So router level middlewares will get loaded in the order they have been written with respect to only router level middlewares, right? But the linking is happening at this line number 26.
So, ma'am, suppose we have two app.get request, then the same scenario will happen that we were using in app.method, right?
Tell me, what do you want me to write? What should I provide the path in the app.get?
Anything, ma'am?
So you have a very specific question, right?
Right?
You so what scenario you are trying to say?
No,
Just
I'm just saying that like I'm not getting what is the benefit where to use like a router middleware and where to use express get request app.get request, right? Then the scenario will be same as we were using at the like previous code, right? That
okay.
next.
I do understand your question. This is the question you are saying. See, I think let me rephrase your question. You are saying application level middlewares and router level middlewares, like they are working the same way almost, right?
Yeah, right, right.
Why we are using uh, why should we use router level middlewares? That's
Yes,
the question,
right.
right? Okay. I got your question. I'll try answering it as we move forward. Okay. This much is clear.
Yes, ma'am.
Route both are clear separately, right? To you, application to everyone, application level middleware and router level middleware. Cool. We'll take that question in the end. Let's develop a bit of more understanding first. Okay, guys. I am going to give one MCQ right now, so please keep your eye on that. So MCQ is live, guys. There is only one MCQ, but please read it carefully. Guys, done MCQ? Okay. Uh, let's try to answer. I'm trying to answer Prag's question. Prag, see the question which you have asked, right? It is all about keeping things modular. Okay. So let me give. Actually, you have to. I'll try explaining it to you, but you will also have to put in some effort. Okay. Let's look at this router level middleware example. Okay, so firstly, if you see, right, this app object Okay, we are going to construct it only once. Is this understood? Let me check the chat, guys. Hmm. Yes. Okay. But this thing, right? This router thing, we can create it more than once. Okay. If I want to put a router in a different app, in a different file or in a different module, I can do that. Okay. So let me give you an example. Let's copy some code from here. Okay. And let's copy this thing also. Router dot get let's just copy this. Let me rename this file as well. So let's say I am going to mention all my user routes in one particular file so that I know that things are, I can look at them very easily. I can figure out what is the logic for anything which is my user router. So what is user router? Any path which is beginning with this, I am going to put it in my uh, this particular file, user routes. Okay. Okay. Now I can write more things here. User slash what I want. Details, right? I can write as many as routes or as many as paths, right? And whenever I want to export it, okay, I can export it. Okay, I can write more routes. Let's say we have user, another entity could be give me another entity name. Anyone?
Product.
Product. Good. Product routes. So I will write everything related to product here because I want to organize my code in such a way so that it is easy for me to make the change. Okay. To keep my code clean and everything. If I mix all the routes in one single file, it will be a problem for me later. Okay, to look to I could not find that piece of code very fast. Okay, if I keep things at a at file level or I organize things at, let's say, the entity level, or I keep things modular, I'll be able to do it. Okay, now if I wanted to do the same thing using application level routers, would I be able to do it, Prag?
No, ma'am.
So are you able to understand a bit?
It's helps to like organize the routes, right?
Right. And see, other important thing is let's go to this particular file also. See, here you are just writing app.use, right? I can have my routes. Okay, I can have my routes from the file. I can just uh, write this user routes equals require. What was the file name? User dot slash user routes. Okay, and in the same way, product routes. Now I have user routes there. I have this thing here. I can directly pass it to app.use. I can write app.use user routes app.use product routes. When I'm writing app.use, do I have to care at all what is the path? Just see at the last two lines. Do I have to do anything? No, right? Now in future, even if I want to add or remove any route, what I'll do is I'll just go to the user routes file and I'll do the logic here. I would have to do no change at all here. Clear, Prag?
Yes, ma'am.
So it makes sense for you why we have router level middlewares and application level middlewares, though they work the same way.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, guys. Great. And Prag, this was a very great question. Um, it's not very easy to see as right now. It's very it's very difficult to understand this question also. But I hope you you got a very clear answer. And anyone else who has the same question or the same doubt, let me. This was the question, guys. No, this was not the question. Sorry, this was earlier question. Let me post that question again. So, or let me just tell it to you. So the question was, why are we using router level middlewares? And why not just use the application level middlewares? Okay. So the thing is, we can organize our code in a better way. We'll have to make less changes here and there. Okay. When I'm adding a new application level route, I have to write in this file, right? And app is only created once. So everything has to be written here. And if I'm writing so many routes, your uh, production application will have thousands of routes, or I don't know, n number of routes. And this is going to be a huge file. It's going to be a huge challenge for you to debug and fix things if things go wrong. Okay. Also, when you have to make a change, right? It is much easier if you organize things like this. Make sense? Guys, any more questions? Router level middleware is clear? Great. Let's do one more MCQ. MCQ is live, guys. Okay, guys, let's begin. So my screen is visible. VS Code screen. Just write in the chat quickly. No one is writing. Great. Now next middlewares which we are going to study is built-in middlewares. This is the most important one. Okay, you will see. So the whole concept of middlewares, right? It is very much important. You will see why. Actually, let me create a folder. Okay, so guys, there are three built-in middlewares, okay, which Express has. So express.json, okay, express.url encoded, and the express.static to serve the static files. Okay. If the concept of middleware is not clear to anyone before we proceed to built-in middlewares, please let me know. Middleware is a very important topic. We are going to solve many problems using the middleware. I am starting built-in middleware then. किसी को कोई issue नहीं है? So let's pick the first one. Okay, the JSON one. I'm going to name this file express JSON middleware. Let's copy some basic code. Okay. So let me remove this line. So this is a very basic code, right? Yes, no, in the chat quickly. Yes, we have written this code many times. See here we have written, right? Okay. Now this we are going to use app.express.json built-in middleware to parse the request body. Okay. So, and it is going to be a application level middleware. Okay. So whatever the common functionality is, right? You can always put it at application level middleware or a router level middleware. Okay. Before putting it into, let's say, post or executing a code is specific to a particular request path, if there is some common code which say, let's say you want to pass the request body for all the requests, so where would you write it? You would write it here, app.use, and what is the name? JSON. So it will parse the request body, okay, to JSON. Cool, guys. So let's run this app and see what we are going to do. We are going to send a post request. Okay. And in the request body, we are going to provide something. I'm going to Postman. I hope my Postman screen is visible. I'm going to go to the body. Okay. I am going to say value everyone. Okay. I am going to send it. See, we are getting some error. Why we are getting this error? No worries. Now we are sending it to the post endpoint, which is defined in our application. So we have only defined one, which is slash. Okay. Now it should print what? Request.body, but it is printing undefined. Why? Because we are telling to parse the request body to JSON. And we are not sending a valid JSON here. What we are sending? We are sending form data. Okay. Now if I do this, if I send this name Tom, okay, and if I send, let's see what is printed. See, now Tom is printed. Okay. So parsing request body to JSON will give you an error if the request body was not having the correct JSON data. This much understood? Parsing is simply you parse the parse function accepts certain data and gives you a certain output. Okay. Here we are clearly asking it to parse it to JSON. This much clear to everyone? This particular middleware is clear. Shall I move ahead? Okay, I'm moving to the next middleware then. This is clear, right? In yesterday, we explained why we need a body parser, right? And MCQ was also there. This concept is clear. Why are we parsing the request body, or why do we need a request body parser? Quickly in the chat, yes, no. I'm assuming it is yes. Okay, guys, I am moving to the next middleware. Okay, and the next middleware is, sorry. This is the next middleware. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to replace it with URL encoded. Okay, guys. I'm going to start the server. Okay. Now let's hit from Postman. What do we get? Undefined. Why? Because we are not sending the right data. We are sending JSON. Okay. And what does it expects? It expects this kind of data. A key value pair kind of data. So I'm going to write here name value is Tom, and I'm going to send it. Okay, you see now Tom is printed. These two middlewares are clear, and middleware concept.
Here we are not converting into JSON, right?
Right. We are not converting into JSON because we are not sending the JSON data. I was giving you the examples of built-in middlewares, right? There are these three built-in middlewares. I gave you the example of JSON. This So this time we were giving the example of this particular one. Okay.
What is URL encoded?
Okay. So let me just, only 2 minutes remaining. Let me check the chat also. Please explain URL encoded. What does it do? Okay. So this thing, right? Express.url encoded is a middleware function. What is going to do? It is going to pass the incoming request with URL encoded payloads. Okay. Just be here. I will show you more. Or if not, if it is not possible, we'll take it tomorrow. Let me send the request again. I'll show you. So, so as you can see right here, there are various different ways in which we can pass the data, request body data for post. Okay, so there is binary, there is raw, there is this. So there are different kinds of there are different options available for you. Okay, the in which form you want to send the data. Okay, so that is one thing. And URL encoded is one of those ways, okay, to write the data or to uh, send the data. Okay, it is one of the way. See, the time is up. I will take this out tomorrow if it is fine. Himanshu, is it fine to you? Okay, guys, so let's end the session. See you tomorrow. And middlewares, please read about middlewares. Okay, I'll post the reading material also. Okay, guys. Thank you. Bye.